everyone, this is Fantasy-esque, and welcome back to Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, our apprentices aged up into warriors, so they are now fully fledged young adults that can go out on patrols and help us with hunts. Along with that, obviously, we had the title of Quill Prince given to Quill Runner, who I am very, very excited for. And I am excited not only for Quill Runner to see, what he manages to get done within the clan, but also for his brother, Frostfade, who, despite not being Prince, went ahead and I think played the hero. Well, I can't say played, he was the hero, because we were really struggling with food and the clan was going through malnourishment, hunger for quite a few moons, and then Frostfade is the one who managed to, I don't think he led a patrol, but he was in a patrol and he managed to do so well on the hunts. He brought in a huge haul of prey, and now we don't have to worry about food for the next couple of moons. So Frostfade, as a great hunter, really managed to show his hunting chops. So I am really proud of him. He is our little hero right now, and I think his brother, the Quill Prince, is very proud of him too, because I think during the ceremony, obviously Quill Runner got to shine, but during the patrols, his younger brother had the limelight, and I love their relationship. I feel like they have a strong bond and they kind of share this with each other. I mean, compared to Shade Fleck and his siblings, who were rivals when they were apprentices and constantly trying to get a leg up on one another, the relationship between Frostfade and Quill Runner is different, because they have always been trying to support each other and help each other catch up. So I just love the whole dynamic here. But this episode is exciting because the kittens, the little kittens, the king's kittens, are going to be aging up into apprentices. So I cannot wait to see who he decides to pick as their mentors. We know that Frostfade really stood out, like I said in the last episode, so I don't know if one of the children are going to be assigned to him, but let's go to the leader's den, roll the dice to see how King Fernstar is going to handle the next gathering. I got a 1 on the D10, which is Snowy Clan, and I got a 2 on the D8, which is Offend. And let's go ahead, guys, and skip a moon. Royal Clan has no deputies, so what happened to our right hand? During his speech at the gathering, King Fernstar reveals one of Snowy Clan's weaknesses that Snowy Clan's leader told him in confidence. Snowy Clan relations have worsened. Time has taken its toll, and Scorchmoss has noticed herself slowing down. She has worked tirelessly for many moons, but it is time for her to retire. Okay, so yeah, typically when we have no deputies and no death notices, then they've retired. So she wants to join the elders in the Elders Den. And actually, I think she's going to be the only elder in the Elders Den, because all the other elders we had passed on. Shining Stripe finally feels energized again. It seems the newly consistent meals have done him good. Excellent. Shining Stripe ran over too fast over harsh ground and hurt his paws. Oh no. Lack of fresh kill. Wait, what? Has left Bear Pelt malnourished? We had ton of food though. We have a ton of food. Inkfeather finally feels energized again. It seems the newly consistent meals have done her good. We need to check up on Bearpelt. What's going on with him? Did he not eat? Quill Runner has become malnourished. We have food. There's no way our food went bad. We have food. Frostfade has become malnourished. Why aren't our hunters getting food? Guys, look! Foxpaw touched noses with his mentor, Frostfade, looking bored and unimpressed, but on the inside he was bouncing around with euphoria as if he was still a kid. I knew it! I called it. In the last episode, I was saying that Frostfade really stood out, and I wonder if the king would pair up his favorite son, Foxpaw, with Frostfade, and it seems as though that's exactly what he's done. The heroic cat who brought everyone food. But we need to investigate this, and I'm a little bit worried about the cats being malnourished, despite us having a huge hole. But yeah, the king, he wants to, he saw the hero and he was like, you know what, that's gonna be my favorite son's mentor. As Ghostpaw touches noses with Flare Freckle. Oh, he hopes that she'll be a cool mentor that won't assign boring tasks. Anything but gathering moss a tick duty. Oh my goodness. Flare Freckle, I don't think is going to be too happy because Flare Freckle actually wanted to mentor Houndpaw, or Houndkit, who she's been building a relationship with. And I think it was Vonel who made a good point about the bond between Flare Freckle and Houndkit. Maybe Flare Freckle isn't trying to tell Houndkit that you can take your time like I took my time. Maybe she's not trying to impose her own values on Houndkit. Instead, she's trying to have a bond with Houndkit so that in the future when Houndkit goes through things, she has a safe space to come back to and someone to talk to about her feelings, So, yeah, Flare Freckle, she definitely wanted to be a guiding light for Houndpaw, but that's not what the kings decided. I almost wonder, guys. I mean, yes, Flare Freckle had her own intentions with Houndkit, but I wonder if King Fernstar noticed that, or maybe we know that he was the one who paired up Flare Freckle and was pressuring Flare Freckle for a long time and was frustrated at Flare Freckle for taking so long. He even started hating her at one point. I wonder if he's looking at the destiny his daughter has. He's looking at the type of she-cat Flare Freckle was, and he thinks that if Flare Freckle becomes Houndpaw's mentor, she's gonna lead her astray. So he's trying to separate them because he doesn't want Flare Freckle to lead his daughter astray, even though that's not what her intention is. I think that's why he's paired Flare Freckle with his son. So who did Houndpaw get? Ghostpaw fought a dog and was barely even hurt. He's a bit bruised, but bruises are better than claw marks. Houndkit's running nose has finally stopped. Houndpaw sits excitedly beside Quill Runner as the meeting ends, and she hopes she'll be doing something exciting like battle training first. Her claws are itching to tear at something. Okay, so I love the fact that the two brothers who have recently aged up, the Quill Prince, Quill Runner, and Frostfade, they are such successful cats. They're being recognized by the leaders, the clan leaders, the king, and they are getting apprentices of their own. I love this whole thing. I'm very proud of them because it's not very often you see newly aged up warriors getting assigned the responsibility of training apprentices. So when that does happen, that makes me very, very excited. So that's really cool. But I want to go take a look at the youngsters, and I feel like Houndpaw, I mean, she's excited to become an apprentice, but I feel like she would be disappointed that she didn't get Flare Freckle as a mentor because that's who she wanted. But maybe Cool Runner is, she still knows how awesome Cool Runner is. So even though she didn't get the mentor she wanted, it's not as though she got downgraded because Cool Runner is kind of the up and coming cat, he's the Cool Prince. So there's that. Yeah, we need to check up on, and I think Foxpaw will be very, very excited. He'd be trying to act cool, but he'd be very excited that Frostfade, the hero and hunter of the clan, became his mentor. We need to take a look at how the youngsters look, though, because I'm very curious, and I want to see their personalities to see maybe more reasons as to why the king chose their mentors, or maybe what he hopes for them. I feel like we kind of worked that out going through with recent events and stuff, but let's have a look. Look at them! They're adorable! Okay, so we have Foxpaw over here, who is sneaky. Okay, Foxpaw is sneaky, constantly climbing and confident with words. He's gone from being... Was he the bullying brother? I think he was. He's gone from being the bullying brother to the sneaky brother. Okay, so I'm wondering, and then Frostfade is adventurous and a great hunter. So I wonder if the king maybe wants Foxpaw to learn from Frostfade how he can apply himself in, serious situations like hunting, or maybe take advantage of things like hunting, scarce resources, but also kind of adapting and exploring different environments where they might be able to find things. Because Foxpaw being a kitten, they went through a lack of food. So I think something the king would be worried about is whether or not Foxpaw can take advantage of his environment, because he was he had a strong bullying personality when he was younger, but you can't bully resources from something or someone that doesn't have resources, right? You need to be able to find it for yourself. So maybe that's another reason why maybe the king equates Frostfade with abundance. Someone who's able to find abundance and provide abundance. And that's why he has paired Foxpaw with him, because he wants Foxpaw to be able to learn that. And maybe, Frostfade is going to be able to hone his sneakiness, his fondness of climbing to actually do that. So that's kind of interesting. And then we have Ghostpaw, who's daring. He was the fearless brother, so this makes a lot of sense for him. He's daring, oddly observant, and he got paired up with a playful cat who is a formidable fighter. So I'm wondering if the king wants Flarefreckle to, I think, keep Ghostpaw engaged, but make it so that he knows his limits, because Ghostpaw as a daring cat, he fought with a dog and he has bruises. Who fights with a dog as an apprentice? You haven't even learnt anything yet. You have no experience. Sometimes he might get himself into situations that are a little bit too dangerous. And so I think the king feels as though, and maybe the king thinks Ghostpaw is the type of cat that isn't going to listen to someone that is overbearing, but Flarefreckle is very, she's very playful, so maybe she'll be able to get across to Ghostpaw in a way that other cats might not. Plus, Ghostpaw looks a lot like Flarefreckle's brother Bearpelt, and he has a similar personality to Bearpelt when, Bearpelt was younger, so maybe he thinks Flarefreckle has the most experience in dealing with this specific type of cat. And then we have Houndpaw, who is troublesome. Okay, quick-witted and a lover of stories. She's troublesome, and she is with Quillrunner, who is loyal. Okay, and formidable fighter. So I think the king probably hopes for Houndpaw that Quillrunner is going to try, I think, a similar thing to Flarefreckle and Ghostpaw, to maybe help shape her troublesome personality. Maybe this need, she was unruly when she was young, right? This need to constantly be getting in trouble and doing things into more useful acts for the royal clan, and maybe help not design her personality, but help to guide her personality in a way that is, I don't know if more loyal is the right way to say it. I don't know if he would want to make her into him. That's not the job of mentors. But as a loyal cat, I think he would maybe teach her to put others before yourself and try to, be helpful. Or if maybe pick your place and time to be troublesome, right? You don't want to take trouble everywhere you go, and you don't want to bring trouble to your loved ones. So he's supposed to be like a balancing countermeasure to Houndpaw's over energy. So we'll see how all of that goes, but that's interesting. I'm really happy for Quillrunner and Frostfade, though, that they're being recognized in this way. We also are going to have some promotions, so yeah, that's definitely going to be a thing. Okay, let's check out the Medicine Cat 10. Bearpelt was given time as treatment for malnourished. Quillrunner was given time as treatment for malnourished. Houndkit was given Poppy as treatment for running nose, and then healed from that. Flailstorm gathered Tansy, Dandelion, and Cobwebs this moon. Okay, let's see what's happening in relationships. King Fernstar is giving advice to Houndkit. Look at that, so he was talking to his daughter before the apprentice ceremonies. King Fernstar, Shining Stripe, and Quillrunner take a sunbath and had a little small talk. King Fernstar is hiding behind a bush, ready to pounce on Flailstorm. Okay, I wonder if the king is being trying to be a bit more playful with Flailstorm, who he considers his enemy, because maybe around this time he started having an inkling that Scorchmoss had talked to him about stepping down, or maybe she had stepped down at this point. And so he realized like he needs to do promotions really soon, and Flailstorm as the royal physician is in line to become, like, he needs to be promoted to his right hand. Like, now his enemy is going to be his right hand. So he is trying to like fix the relationship between them a little bit to make it workable. Scorchmoss doesn't notice Inkfeather twitching her whiskers at her. Scorchmoss likes the way Bearpelt laughs. Icicle Speck brushes against Cool Runner while correcting his stance and looks away with a purr. Hold on a second. Icicle Speck, aren't you mated to Shining Stripe? I know he's not in love with you anymore, but still, you guys are together. And now you're having wandering eyes for Quill Runner? I swear, something about the princes, they tend to prefer other princes. Like, we've had other cats fall in love with princes, but we've never had the princes really. Well, no, Bearpelt is a prince, and he kind of fell in love with Shadefleck, but still. Something about princes, and Icicle Speck especially. Icicle Speck, he has a type. His type is a prince. He liked Shadefleck, and then he liked Bearpelt, and now he likes Cool Runner. Huh. Icicle Speck, Flarefreckle, and Shining Stripe had a nice talk while eating. Icicle Speck does something brave with Quill Runner's support. They're spending a lot of time together, and I don't know if Cool Runner feels the same way, or if Cool Runner understands. I don't think Cool Runner would make a move on Icicle Speck, or think that way about him, knowing that he's in a relationship with Shining Stripe, who was his mentor. This is his mentor's mate. Like, I don't know. We need to check their relationships. Flailstorm learns something new about a clanmate from Bearpelt. Flailstorm thinks Icicle Speck has been acting strangely. Shining Stripe and Houndkit roll up moss balls together. Shining Stripe hopes he just misheard Houndkit's rude remark. Shining Stripe and Icicle Speck had a fight over if they would take a new mate if one of them died or went missing. I wonder if Shining Stripe maybe saw or heard around camp that Icicle Speck is spending a lot of time with Quill Runner, or maybe he noticed that Icicle Speck is fawning a little bit too much over Quill Runner, and so maybe he brought up a theoretical, because of an insecurity perhaps, he brought up like, what happened if one of us died or went missing, like how quickly would you move on, and they had a fight over that. Yeah. Maybe because Icicle Speck felt like that was a stupid question, and Shining Stripe felt like Icicle Speck wasn't being upfront about anything or honest. Yeah. Okay, so things aren't going well for them. Flarefreckle learns something new about a clanmate from Frostfade. A cloud parts over Flarefreckle and Foxkit. Shining a light on them, they interpret this as a sign that they're meant for great things soon. Interesting. Now, this is something that happened between Flarefreckle and Houndkit beforehand, and now it's happening, or just before the ceremonies, it happened between Flarefreckle and Foxkit. And, typically I say that this means the cats, they want each other as mentors and apprentices. And actually, we have had in the past, like in past clans I've played, we've had mentors with 2 apprentices at a time. So I wonder if Flarefreckle, in the last minute, kind of felt as though maybe she needs to help guide Foxkit too. And that's kind of interesting, because she had this for 2 of the kittens, but the kitten she got assigned to, she didn't have any signs with. It was Ghost Kit. And it makes me wonder whether the king noticed all of this. Maybe he noticed the light shining on them and the sign. He noticed a sign with Flarefreckle and Houndkit, and he noticed a sign with Flarefreckle and Foxkit. And to him, he kind of viewed that as, oh, that means she's going to have a big influence on these children. What if she guides them down the wrong path? So he didn't want that, and he deliberately assigned Flarefreckle to Ghost Kit, who she didn't have any signs with. I think that's the king's maybe over-possessiveness over his offspring, but also his insecurities. I feel like King Fernstar's a very insecure king, to be honest. Bearpelt thinks Shining Stripe is very polite, so some brother bonding happening. Bearpelt ignores Ghost Kit. Inkfeather notices how closely Bearpelt sticks to his beliefs. Inkfeather learns something new about a clanmate from Foxkit. Coolrunner had to nip Ghostkit on the rump because he was being naughty. Frostfade finds a bit of fluff that smells like Flailstorm and adds it to his nest. Foxpaw is always happy to share a piece of fresh kill with Inkfeather, his mother. Okay, so there's a mother-son bonding. And then they had... Okay, so this is when they had their apprentice ceremonies, just before Foxpaw shared some kill with his mother. Ghostpaw and Shining Stripe actually get along better today, and Houndpaw says something really rude to Icicle Speck. Okay. So that's all we have for the events. Let me cut the recording here. We've been hanging out here for ages. And go pick up at the cat list. Okay, time for us to continue with the cat list. We're starting off with... Oh wait, before we go into loyalties, I have to update you guys on the promotions that have been made. So Flailstorm has been promoted to the King's right hand. Icicle Speck has been promoted to the Royal Physician, and Inkfeather, the King's noble consort, has entered the King's court as the new matchmaker. I really hope this is a chance for her to get closer to King Fernstar, since they'll be working together more often. And I really hope he finally starts to recognize her and the devotion she has towards him, like her loyalty towards him, because I feel like he brushes it off way too easily and makes me sad for Inkfeather. But okay, loyalties. We have had one change, and that was with Quillrunner, who is no longer loyal to King Fernstar. I think what this comes from, maybe Quillrunner, as a very recognized prince. I mean, he got the title of prince, so he's an accomplished cat. He's an elite amongst royals, right? He, Icicle Speck, Bearpelt, they're all elites among royals. Because of the additional title they have and what it says about their skills as cats and warriors. So I think him being this accomplished, he probably felt as though the king assigning him to Houndpaw was probably the king trying to make Coolrunner babysit Houndpaw in a way. Because I think Coolrunner, he's not the type of cat that would be arrogant and look down on like Houndpaw, but I think maybe when he sees his personality and Houndpaw's personality, he doesn't see how he can help her just yet. It's like unclear to him how exactly he can help her. So it feels like the king is disregarding his abilities and making him babysit. Hopefully they're able to work their dynamic out as they spend more time with one another, but I think because he's questioning the king's decision to pair him with Houndpaw, that's why he's lost that loyalty towards him. He's unsure about the king's mind. Okay, that's all we had for loyalties. Now let's quickly zoom through the relationship panels, and I noticed 3 things, so I'll talk about them when we get to it. King Fernstar, I didn't notice anything new. Flailstorm, I didn't notice anything new. Icicle Speck, guys, had romance gain for Quillrunner, which we all kind of knew about because he was helping Quillrunner train, and then things got a little bit too flirty, and we kind of said that Icicle Speck has a type, and it's the elites. He likes the elites, right? So yeah, he's got a thing for the princes, and that's kind of all I noticed with the gain over here, and then they were spending time with one another. I feel like I'll talk about it when we'll get to the next cat. Inkfeather, I didn't notice anything too different here. Bearpelt, no major changes with him. Shining Stripe had a romance loss with Icicle Speck, and we obviously know about the big fight they have. I think Shining Stripe would feel very betrayed by Icicle Speck, knowing that Icicle Speck is like shifted his attention to Shining Stripe's like former apprentice. I think for him that would be a big deal, because we know that he's a righteous cat and he probably doesn't feel like that's morally right. And I mean, Shining Stripe already had to contend with Icicle Speck, you know, sharing affection for his brother Bearpelt, but he was able to, I think Shining Stripe and Bearpelt, they had a few moments of tension after Shining Stripe got together with Icicle Pelt, but I think they like overcame that, right? They dealt with it. But now Icicle Speck has shifted his gaze and attention to his former apprentice. Shining Stripe, I think, more and more is starting to lose the feelings he had for Icicle Speck, because to him, this is not the cat he fell in love with. This is not. This is someone different, you know? These are not the qualities that he was hoping for in a partner. Which is very unfortunate. Flare Freckle, I didn't notice any major changes with her. Now, Quill Runner, we were curious about this, but guys, Quill Runner has also started kind of being intrigued by Icicle Speck. I mean, he knows, he's a loyal cat, and he knows that Icicle Speck is his former mentor's mate, but this is his first kind of brush with romance. And Icicle Speck helping him train, and then being a bit flirtatious with him, it's like putting thoughts into Quill Runner's mind, right? And he can't help but like the attention a little bit. I don't think he's attention seeking, but especially at this time when maybe he feels like the king is looking down on his abilities, maybe the time he's spending with Icicle Speck makes him feel validated for being a prince from another prince. It's such a mess. It is such a mess, but that's what we have. I didn't notice anything major for Frostfade. And then we have, the Apprentices with Foxpaw, Ghostpaw, and Houndpaw. And then Scorchmoss, I didn't notice any major changes either. Now, I quickly wanted to say that I realized for some of the parents, when we go through, the child they're closest to will kind of change. But when I say favorite child, I'm only considering when they're born. So the first time at 0 moons when we look at the relationship panel, or if I forget, during 1 moon when we look at the relationship panel, whoever the closest kitten is to the parents, I just consider them to be the favorite child regardless of how the relationship changes as they get older. Because if we had to jump every single time relationship changed, that would be a little bit too much to keep in mind, Too many working gears and cogs. So I kind of just focus on the very first time we check to see who the closest child to the parent is. I consider them to be the favorite child for the remainder of their lives. So yeah, I just had to say that because I do realize that some of the relationships have changed. Like with Fernstar, if we look here, he is closer right now to Houndpaw than he is to Foxpaw. But I don't consider Houndpaw to be his favorite child because when we checked the first time when they were born, he was closest to Foxpaw. And for the life of it, I'm going to say that Foxpaw is his favorite son and favorite child, regardless of how the relationship changes. Because things are more interesting that way. Imagine if Foxpaw, started off being his favorite son, but at down the line at some point, they become enemies or something. Just because he's Fernstar's enemy doesn't mean he's not going to be Fernstar's favorite son. That would make such a tragic storyline, right? So there's certain reasons why I do certain things or have guidelines, because I feel like it makes for more fascinating stories. So I had to point that out because I did notice that, in case, you guys said that there was a change and I overlooked it. I haven't overlooked it. I'm just, I'm not taking it into consideration regarding some things. Okay, let's go ahead and see what everyone's doing for the day. King Fernstar doesn't question his own judgment. Of course he does. He has made his decisions for the mentors of his children and he believes he's made the right choice, so he's not worried at all. Flailstorm can't keep up with Ghost Kit. Icicle Speck remembers to eat breakfast to keep his strength up. And oh yeah, we have to pay attention to the hungers, what's happening here. So Fernstar is satiated at 77. Flailstorm is full at 83. Icicle Speck is full at 83. Inkfeather wants to complement Flare Freckle's fighting techniques. She's hungry at 50. Why is she hungry? Why is she hungry? But I love that she's trying to complement Flare Freckle's fighting techniques because Flare Freckle is the mentor for her favorite son, so she's spending some time with her son's mentor. That's cute. Bear Pelt is humming a tune he heard near a two-leg place. He's hungry at 44 and sick because malnourished. What is happening with the food? Shining Stripe can't wait to take a nap later. He's hungry at 51. Flare Freckle is craving the taste of fish. She's satiated at 72. Cool Runner can't get anything done with this heat. He's hungry at 44 and malnourished, I'm pretty sure. Frostfade purrs as a cold breeze hits him. He's hungry at 44 and malnourished, I think. Foxpaw plays a prank on Quill Runner. That's cute. He's stuffed, thank goodness, at 100. Ghostpaw is being scolded by his mentor for reckless behavior while training. And I think reckless behavior in general for going after that dog. So he's injured from that. We did check up on him. He's stuffed at 100. His sister Houndpaw wants to compare catches with Foxpaw. She's stuffed at 100 as well. Scorchmoss is telling a rather tall tale to any cat who will listen, and she's satiated at 77. What's going on with our food? Because we have food. We have food. We have food and we can feed all the warriors. So what is up with that? Unless they're slowly but surely kind of having their meals. Slowly but surely having their meals. But there's a ton of food. They should all be eating. We can feed everyone. They shouldn't be malnourished. It's kind of concerning, isn't it? It's kind of concerning. Okay, well, we need to also check up on the mentor's experiences to see who has the advantage over here. I'm fascinated to see who has the advantage. I feel like Foxpaw and Frostfade have the best dynamic to make potentially a prince. But you never know. You never know. So let's see. In terms of experience, I think this is pretty clear. Ghostpaw actually has an advantage over his siblings because his mentor is the most experienced, Flarefreckle. And Foxpaw actually has the most disadvantage because his mentor, Frostfade, has the least experience. And you know, Houndpaw's mentor is a prince. So I'm curious to see how things are going to go between them as they continue down the road of being apprentices. But okay, that's all we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with patrols. It is time for us to go on our first patrols with the apprentices. We currently have 94.9 parade, which is a lot, and we need 31. We need to send out our new royal physician, Icicle Speck, out first to see what he finds in the forest outside the grotto. Icicle Speck heads out to find Tansy, scenting the air for its sharp smell and eyes on the lookout for Tansy's strange orb-like yellow flowers that Greenleaf has brought out in abundance. Proceed. The yellow dewdrops shining merrily in the distance guide Icicle Speck into the Tansy patch, where he takes a good harvest. Tansy was gathered, and now I'm curious to see the training techniques for our mentors and their apprentices. So we're going to have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 4, it seems. So let's have a look. Okay. It seems as though we have a bit of a swap. So Frostfade has decided that he wants Foxpaw to be supervised by Flarefreckle, and Flarefreckle has swapped with him so that Ghostpaw can be supervised by Frostfade, and Quillrunner has decided to keep Houndpaw very close to him. So kind of see how that goes. Interesting. And then we have King Fernstar, Shining Stripe, Flailstorm, his hateful right hand, and Bearpelt. Actually, I don't know if I checked up on this. Oh, look at that! See, look at this. I didn't even mention this because I completely forgot to check. I was only looking at romances, which is what I mainly focus on for the relationships. But he doesn't hate Flailstorm anymore. Flailstorm is no longer considered an enemy of his. I think he realized when Scorchmoss stepped down that he cannot have an enemy be his right hand, and he had to fix his relationship with Flailstorm, so he tried to stop being a little bit nice and more playful with him. And it's kind of worked. It's kind of worked. Fernstar is putting the good of the clan above his petty, petty things, arguments with Flailstorm. And to be honest, the whole reason they became enemies, Buttercup Fin is no longer around, so it's kind of pointless to keep on this grudge. So, good, interesting note. Okay, let's send these guys out and see what they get up to. King Fernstar has a vision for a clever battle move, but he needs a couple of cats to practice it with. Proceed. Shining Stripe isn't comfortable doing such intense fighting training, but also doesn't bring it up, instead going for the worst of both worlds, where he still does training and ruins it for the other cats, flinching back from being a good training partner. Well, Shining Stripe, that wasn't your finest moment, but okay. At least I think Foxpaw hopefully would have learned something from this. And it totally makes sense that when the king is going on the first patrol with, his son there, he wants his son to get as much training as possible. And then we have Houndpaw, Ghostpaw, Frostfade, and Quillrunner going out, so let's see how these two go. I'm actually really happy that Quillrunner and Frostfade, the two brothers, they can do their first mentoring patrols together. Let's see. Oh no. Oh no. As the patrol is making the borderlines, a gang of rogues bursts from the bushes and ambush. Ambushes? I've never had one in the forest, but from what I know in Luminous Clan, the ambushes can be dangerous. Oh no, guys. We have a patrol with 2 apprentices who don't have any experience, and 2 warriors who have only just become warriors. Proceed. The rogues are terrifyingly coordinated and use the patrol's shock and confusion against them. The patrol cats are picked off one by one, and only a couple manage to escape the slaughter. Houndpaw died. Houndpaw died? Are you telling me? Not only was she my favorite kitten of the litter, she was our only female kitten, and only a female with a great destiny. She was supposed to give us future litters. Are you telling me she's died? Guys, what is with this clan? It's like they're cursed to never have princesses. Like, our girls keep dying for one reason or another. I'm just realizing how special it is that Flurfreckle even made it to adulthood and even managed to have a litter. Because we've had like 2 litters now with with one female, and in both litters the females have died. Oh my goodness. I feel like Frostfade would feel very guilty for not being able to look after Houndpaw properly, and I wonder if Flurfreckle would be crushed, I feel like, because she had high hopes for or she had an attachment to Houndpaw because she saw herself in Houndpaw. Oh my goodness. Actually, no. Frostfade wasn't in charge of Houndpaw. It was Quillrunner. It was Quillrunner. I'm mixing up the mentors, but oh my goodness. Forget about Frostfade. I think Quillrunner, because he was patrol leader as well. Oh no, he would feel so guilty, because I don't think he was able to work out even. Because he thought the king was making him babysit Houndpaw because he couldn't figure out how to help her. And I think he would feel even more guilty that he didn't try as a mentor, that he didn't try sooner, that he didn't try harder to understand her and assist her. And maybe that, I don't think he would have been negligent, but I think maybe that, what am I trying to say? The distance between the 2 of them regarding golds and like what they were trying to do, he might feel as though that's what caused Houndpaw to die. They didn't have a good enough understanding of one another to be able to get out of this unscathed. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, the patrols ended up being way more eventful than we anticipated. Ay. Okay. Oh no. Now we only have 2 apprentices left. It seems, guys, we are just not fated. We are just not fated to have a princess, which is so heartbreaking. But now that the king's daughter has passed on, the clan is gonna have, he's gonna have to elevate another servant to, he's gonna have to elevate, if he can find one, another servant to nobility. If he can find a servant that matches his criteria, he's gonna have to bring her into the clan so that we can have another litter, because we no longer have Houndpaw, who we were relying on for future litters. Oh my goodness. That is so sad. She didn't have any time. You know the crazy thing is that in the last litter, Firepaw, she became a young adult, but she died before she could have her her ceremony. And then in this litter, she became Houndpaw became an apprentice, but she died on her first moon as apprentice. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But okay, that's what we managed to have in this episode. I know it was a lot longer than other episodes, but there was just so much to talk about. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.